Grooming is one of the most important things you can do to make sure you're looking like the best version of yourself. And we're going to talk about what I do today. Fellas, welcome back. It's Robert, your everyday gentleman. And like I said, today I'm going to talk about my personal grooming routine. Now, there's a number of things that I do when it comes to my grooming. So I figured in the interest of time, I'd break this down into a 2-video series, with part 1 being from the neck up and the second part being from the neck down. And today we're going to talk about from the neck up, which really is the majority of everything that I do. And really, to me, is the most important part, because from the neck up is what most people notice. So it's important that you address these areas to make sure that you're looking like the best version of yourself. Now, I don't believe there's anybody out there that's not good looking. Everybody has their strengths and everybody has their weaknesses. And so it's important that you address these areas and make sure that your grooming routine is on point. So like I said, you can look like the best version of yourself. Now, if you're new to my channel, I want to welcome you. Here I talk about everything to do with men's lifestyle. Everything from grooming to fashion, fitness, cigars, whiskey, really anything that has to do with being a man in today's modern age. I invite you to subscribe and of course to engage in the comments down below. And if you're a returning subscriber, I want to thank you for your continued support. And with that, let's jump into it. Now, there's a number of things that I do on a regular basis, some daily, some weekly, some monthly. And you may not incorporate all of these, and you may not do the exact same thing that I do. This is just what works best for me. But to me, it's important that you at least address all these areas to make sure they're looking proper. Now, the first thing I'm going to talk about is, of course, your face and your skin. This is the most important part, I think, of your face. Now, this isn't something that I really paid too much attention to when I was younger, but now that I'm getting older, I'm 40 years old, it's something that I feel is extremely important to me. So I adopted a routine about a year ago, and I've been sticking with it ever since. Now, I don't mind getting wrinkles. I think it adds an element of maturity to men, but at the same time, I want to manage it to make sure I'm not getting more than what's necessary. So every single day, twice a day, I use a daily wash. It doesn't really matter what kind you use. You just want to make sure that you're using a daily wash that's gentle for your face, appropriate for your face, and that you're doing it twice a day, once in the morning and once at night. Now, in addition to the daily cleanser, I use a scrub twice a week. The scrub is important because it helps to remove those dead skin cells off of your face that aren't falling off as quickly with just a regular cleanser. You don't want to use the scrub too much. Twice a week should be sufficient, and that's what works for me. Now, I use 2 different moisturizers after I use my wash or the scrub. I have a nighttime and a daytime one. The main difference is the daytime one also includes a sunblock to protect your skin from those harmful UV rays. Now, in addition to that, I also use an eye serum. Eye serum you just pat underneath your eyes, and this helps to manage those crow's feet and those bags and those dark circles that you get under your eyes. I use the eye serum twice a day as well, right before I apply the moisturizer. Now, when it comes to the hair from the neck up, I'm talking about the hair on my head, my beard, eyebrows, nose hair, any kind of hair that you have, you need to manage all of that. Now, I don't shampoo my hair or my beard every single day. I do that twice a week, typically on the same day that I also use the face scrub, just to make things simple. You don't want to shampoo your hair or your beard every single day. Doing it too much can dry your hair out and actually cause more damage. Different people will try different things, but twice a week works for me. I do use a conditioner every single day. I use a separate one for my hair than I use for my beard. Beard hair is a lot different from the hair on your head, so you want to make sure you're using a product that's specifically designed for this type of hair. Now, I do have a video series that talks about my full beard grooming routine. So if you're interested in that, I'll put a link card up here, or I'll put it in the description down below. Now, aside from the washing and conditioning, you also have to maintain the length of your hair. I get haircuts usually every 2 to 3 weeks. I'll typically go with a medium fade or a low fade, sometimes a taper. Sometimes I'll go with a high fade. It just kind of depends on what I'm feeling. But every 2 to 3 weeks is usually when I get a haircut. The top of my hair I'll cut once every month, sometimes every other month. Again, it just depends on how the growth is going and how manageable my hair is. Now, as far as my beard, I trim the bulk of my beard, which I try to keep it here on my chin, about once a month. And then the sides, I'll trim about once a week. And the cheeks and the neck area, which is extremely important. I think if you're growing a beard, you want to make sure these areas are clean. It keeps it looking neat. I do this once every day or every other day. It really depends on what I use to clean it up. If I use a straight razor, that lasts me a little bit longer. I might get away with 2-3 days before I have to really do it again. If I'm using my Phillips One blade, I'll probably have to use it once a day just because it doesn't really get as close as using a straight razor. And then you can't forget about your eyebrows, your nose hair, and if you have any ear hair, you gotta make sure you manage that too. You don't want to do too much to your eyebrows. You just want to take some tweezers and just kind of clean up the areas around the bulk of your eyebrow eyebrows. If you shape them up too much, it might look a little bit feminine. It shouldn't be the look that you're going for. So I'll do that about once a week. Same with my nose. I'll make sure that this is managed. I'll use scissors or also my Phillips One Blade. I get a lot of use out of that. And I don't get much hair on my ears. I do get some random hairs here and there, so I'll pluck those out as I see them. Usually Sunday is a day that I do my weekly routine. Now, of course, when it comes to your teeth, you want to make sure you're brushing twice a day. I use a charcoal infused toothpaste along with a charcoal infused mouthwash that I picked up at Target. And of course, floss daily. And then you also want to brush your tongue to make sure you're preventing any kind of bad breath from building up. And then as far as styling, I style my beard every single day. Now the hair on my head though, I'll style that 5, maybe 6 times a week. I do try to give my hair at least one day where I kind of call it a recovery day, where I don't really do much to it. I might dry it if I'm gonna wear a hat, or I kind of let it dry naturally if I do have the time. And then I'll just put some oil in it or some kind of mask that's gonna help it just recover from the use that I do, because I do use a blow dryer when I style my hair and all the product that you put in and things like that. So, you know, I give my hair at least one day out of the week to recover. Now this may seem like a lot to do, but honestly it's really not that difficult. Once you get into the routine of doing these things on a regular basis, it comes pretty natural. You can get through things pretty quick. But again, this is what I do. This is what works for me, and what works for you may be different. You may not need as much, or you may need more than what I do. And that's where the comments down below really come in handy. I want to hear from all of you. Let me know what it is that works for you. Let me know what works for you that might be different from what I do. I know this is a general description of what I do to groom myself from the neck up, but if you want something more in detail, of course, I've got that grooming series down below. And if you want to see additional things, you know, just let me know in the comments, and I'll make sure to do my best to bring those videos out. Now, if you like this video and this type of content, make sure you hit that like button down below, subscribe and hit that notification bell to catch all future videos, including part 2 of this series. And remember, being a gentleman is an everyday thing. Take it easy, fellas. Oh, and the last tip, I almost forgot. Don't forget the lip balm.